The term unidentified flying object, or UFO, was first used in the early 1950s, coined by the United States Air Force after a spate of reports of strange objects observed in the sky. These airborne objects possessed characteristics which did not conform to any known aircraft or missile type and could not be positively identified as a familiar object. Thought by the observer to have no ordinary natural origin, these objects were labelled as unidentified, which, in the decades since, has often led to the assumption of alien origin. However, it must be remembered that the term UFO does not necessarily mean such an object is related to extraterrestrials, but rather that a sighted object is merely unexplained, cannot be identified, and appears out of place. In present times, the search for genuine UFO sightings, especially those caught on camera, is frustrated by the ease with which they can be faked. As such, the study of UFOs can be just as embarrassing as it can be exhilarating. Yet, with thousands of sightings reported across the globe each year, not a day goes by when a UFO is not spotted in the sky. UFO phenomena is difficult to ignore. Not all sightings can be easily explained. Many cannot be positively identified. As such, here are 5 pieces of footage showing UFOs that remain unexplained. In 2004, David Fravor was the commanding officer of a US Navy squadron. What he witnessed whilst aboard a Super Hornet fighter aircraft off the coast of California would later be investigated by a secret Pentagon program established to investigate aerial anomalies. The footage, captured by the most advanced sensors and tracking systems available at the time, was later declassified and approved for public release in December 2017. Speaking to the press all those years later, David Fravor, now retired, confessed that he still could not explain what he saw that day. According to him, the object he witnessed was something not from the Earth. Fravor was on a training mission west of San Diego, some 60 to 100 miles off the coast, when he received a command to investigate an anomaly in the water 60 miles from his location. According to his testimony, he was told that several unidentified flying objects had been observed descending from 80,000 feet to 20,000 feet before disappearing, phenomena that the Navy had been tracking for a few weeks. When Fravor got closer, he saw one of the objects for himself, flying over the smooth ocean. He described it as moving randomly. According to his account, it was shaped like a tic-tac and was 40 feet long with no wings. Despite moving in a manner similar to a helicopter, Fravor saw no signs of air turbulence, which would have been caused by the blades of a helicopter. As commanded, Fravor and his 4-man team pursued the anomaly, their tracking system locked on to its movements. After several minutes of chase, the object accelerated rapidly to the left and disappeared. Its speed was so fast that Fravor's sensors could not maintain tracking. The velocity of the object was unprecedented. Fravor remains convinced that the unidentified object he witnessed was extraterrestrial, and that there may be other, similar crafts out there. In his own words, "This is revolutionary technology. Think about the advances that would bring mankind." The following footage was shared by the British Earth and Aerial Mystery Society after being filmed by Craig Megson in early February 2018. The video appears to show a formation of unidentified flying objects cross the night sky. Megson was changing trains at Preston train station in Lancashire, England, on his way home after a day out with his 6-year-old son. According to his testimony, it was around 6:30 in the evening when he noticed a series of lights in the sky. At first he thought the objects were planes, yet with no flashing lights or sound, he soon dismissed his initial assumption. Then, when more lights appeared, also moving in silent, steady formation, he knew he was witnessing something extraordinary. The peculiar objects quickly drew a crowd of at least 20 people, all with their eyes turned to the sky. Like Megson, they could not explain what they were seeing. In his own words, "I asked the man next to me what he thought they could be, and he simply said, 'They're not planes, mate, that's for sure.'" One explanation that has been proposed is that the mysterious lights were simply Chinese lanterns. However, Megson has stated that the weather conditions that evening were windy. It is highly unlikely that a group of paper lanterns could have moved in such a steady, evenly spaced formation under such windy conditions. Not only that, Chinese lanterns are highly regulated in the United Kingdom. Local authorities must be notified, and lanterns are not permitted in wind speeds of 5 miles per hour or higher. For Craig Megson, the footage is compelling proof that we are not alone in the universe, validating his belief that UFOs of alien origin have been spotted in the skies above his home county of Lancashire for decades. Whilst it is impossible to conclude that these objects are extraterrestrial, they are unidentified. In July 2018, a multitude of people came forward claiming to have sighted UFOs after several strange lights were seen flashing over the sky of Chongqing, China. Beginning at around 8 o'clock in the evening on the 18th of July, Chongqing residents took to Chinese social media platforms to share their reports and videos of orange-red lights moving in a linear motion across the sky. The balls of light appeared to have an eerie yellow halo around them, visible for a few seconds before disappearing. In most of the videos, the orbs move soundlessly across the sky. In one piece of footage, a loud, low droning noise can be heard. Panicked, some local residents feared that aliens were visiting China. Some web users even claimed to have seen the same mysterious pattern appearing above other cities, including Shanghai. Various attempts have been made to explain the sightings. Some have speculated that the lights were caused by a military training exercise and may have been the result of decoy flares being released, with the aircraft itself concealed by nighttime cloud cover. Others have suggested that the orange-red lights were a visual anomaly, possibly a misidentification of Mars. Nigel Watson, a leading British UFO expert and author, suggested that the footage could be a rocket zooming into the atmosphere, with the pulses of light being blasts from its engines. Certainly, there has been a lot of speculation as to the cause of the eerie lights. However, with the Chinese authorities yet to comment on the matter, they are yet to be fully explained. On the morning of the 1st of September 2016, a Falcon 9 rocket, designed and manufactured by the aerospace company SpaceX, exploded on its launch pad at the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida. It was being test-fired in preparation for the planned launch of a communications satellite. Both the launch vehicle and its payload, the $195 million satellite, were destroyed in the blast. At the scene of the incident was US Launch Report, a veteran-owned video productions agency which produces video reports of all things space. It was their footage of the dramatic incident which ignited a secondary explosion, an explosion of reports that an unidentified flying object had been responsible for the rocket's destruction. The cause of these claims was a mysterious object, which enters from the right side of the screen and passes above the rocket at the same time as the explosion. In no time at all, footage of the explosion and the object racked up millions of views online. Conspiracy-minded observers whispered that someone or something had intentionally destroyed the rocket and the satellite it was carrying. Some even hinted at extraterrestrial interference. In the hours that followed the explosion, SpaceX and its founder Elon Musk stated that the explosion-causing anomaly originated around the upper stage oxygen tanks. Their initial statement that the cause of the explosion was unknown only added fuel to UFO theories. In the months that followed, skeptical analysts probed the footage for an explanation. Their suggestions that the object was a bug or bird left many unconvinced. The object had been moving too fast. The object appeared shiny, and unlike other insect-like objects visible at the start of the video, the object in question seemed to move in a perfectly straight line, travelling behind the rocket relative to the camera, and therefore proving to be both larger and moving much more quickly than any bugs or birds in the foreground. Skeptics have pointed out that whilst we cannot know for sure what the object is, that the video was captured using a telephoto lens adds to the challenge of questioning the footage scientifically. The further the zoom, the greater the risk for distortion of an object's perceived speed and distance. Add in video compression and increased pixelation, and you are navigating a minefield of uncertainty. In the months after the explosion, SpaceX conducted further investigations as to the cause of the incident. In their press release, they claimed to have identified a problem with the supercooled oxygen on board. Yet, due to the difficulty of positively identifying the object in the footage, many remain convinced that it was the cause of the explosion. Whatever the case may be, without the ability to scrutinize the footage further, the object in question remains unidentified. This video was filmed on the 15th of August 1950 in Great Falls, Montana. It is believed to be the first UFO sighting captured on video. Almost 70 years later, the footage still has experts divided. Nick Mariana, the manager of a minor league baseball club, was surveying an empty ballpark with his secretary when the pair noticed two peculiar objects in the sky. In a later documentary interview, Mariana describes seeing two silvery objects made of a bright, shiny metal moving swiftly out of the northwest. He noticed that the objects, both of the same size, were about 10,000 feet in the air. After a few moments, they suddenly stopped. Struck by the bizarre nature of what he and his secretary were witnessing, Mariana decided to film the incident using his 16mm color video camera, which he had in the glove compartment of his car. When he started filming, the two objects were moving once again, flying directly against strong wind speeds. Mariana continued filming the anomalies until they disappeared into the blue sky behind a nearby water tank. He maintained that he could not see any exhaust, wings, or any kind of fuselage, and that the objects made no sound except for a whooshing noise which he heard when he first saw them. In the immediate aftermath of the incident, Mariana only shared the footage with friends and family. In time, however, the footage became one of the most heavily investigated pieces of UFO evidence in existence. When a local newspaper covered the story, officials at an Air Force base in Ohio were notified. It was at this point that Mariana's footage came to the attention of Project Grudge, an official USAF investigative body tasked with explaining unidentified aerial phenomena. Both Mariana and his secretary gave testimonies, with the original footage being sent away for analysis. When the film was returned, Mariana was given a straightforward response. The film showed nothing of note. The objects in question were simply reflections from fighter jets active in the area. Mariana was unconvinced. Not only that, he was adamant that the most important frames of the film were missing. These frames, he stated, showed the objects rotating as they flew across the sky. Over the next 20 years, Mariana's footage was subject to at least 3 more official investigations. In 1952, when the footage was studied for the purposes of Project Blue Book, the previous conclusion of fighter jet reflections was thrown out. Instead, the film was described as an unknown. With each fresh analysis, a different conclusion was made. It soon became clear that no one could positively identify the objects in the footage. Even today, after dozens of experts from the US government, Air Force, and documentary film projects have studied Mariana's film, a conclusive explanation is nowhere in sight. As such, Mariana's film remains one of the most compelling pieces of footage of unidentified flying objects. Thank you for watching. What do you think of the 5 videos featured in this video? Are they UFOs? Can you explain what they show? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and would like more of the paranormal, don't forget to subscribe if you have not done so already. And if you cannot wait until my next video, why not check out the one suggested on screen now? Until next time.